So we're going to do our thing.
You think? Oh, God damn.
Okay. This is the Submission Piracy Toddcast number 8.
Ocho.
With Steve Rivetti and myself, Todd Jensen. Welcome, Steve.
Welcome, Todd.
All right. So in the studio, we have Canadian. All right.
I'm also American.
Oh, okay. I heard that. I heard. But,
officially.
I think you're, first and foremost, your heart's in Canada.
Okay.
I get it.
I mean,
your heart's with the round bacon and the flopjacks.
Yes.
The flopjack and the maple syrup.
The maple syrup.
Yeah.
All right. Can you tap on that screen? Make sure it's still going.
Yeah, it looks like it is.
Okay. Good. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So I want to make an introduction here. But before we do that, I want to give a little backstory. Oh. So my wife used to work for a painting company. And she was out on a quote. And the lovely Cassandra had called and said, hey, could you come over and give a quote? Mm-hmm. And they got to talking. And Kristi was like, oh, my husband has a gym. And, she's like, oh, I used to have a gym in Vernon. Mm-hmm. And so we got to talking, and she was like, well, I'm really bored, during the summer because, she's an educator.
No.
Academia. And she was like, I'm bored and I want something to do. So we got connected, and she came in and sat down. We're in the lounge in the other room. Mm-hmm. And she started reading her resume off, like pretty much off the top of her head. I felt like a child. Like a sweet baby. Like a child. Like she was...
What's that?
Somehow she wanted me to hire her for something, and I'm like, I think you're a bit overqualified, and I don't know what I have to offer you. And she's like, no, really, I'm just bored, and I want something to do over the summer.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, cool. All right. Well, I was really interested in your nutrition and your yoga. So that really stood out for me. But everything else, you're way too smart for me. So I can't deal with all of that. So without further ado, the very talented, the very lovely,
well-educated,
and the very smart Cassandra. Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
All right. So
That's quite the intro.
Listen,
I feel very flattered.
You should be.
Embarrassed at the same time.
Listen.
We call that
I'm a little
embarrassed.
Well, you spent a lot of time educating yourself.
Yeah, a lot. 12 years.
12 years.
12 years.
She's a doctor, dude.
Dude, I'll tell you, I have nightmares about going back to school. I have nightmares. I'll wake up and I'll be like, and the dream that I usually have is that I had a class in college, and then I just forgot that I had it for the entire semester.
You know what I have dreams of? Is going to class naked. That's what I dream about, going to class naked.
No, I go other places naked in my dreams.
Yeah, okay. So you had a final and you didn't do it?
No, I had a final. I was just like, oh, I have this class. And then I just never went to the class. And then I was like, it was finals week. And I was like, oh, my God, I had that class. And I forgot that I actually enrolled for that class. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm so happy I'm not being educated.
That's so weird that you have that same dream, because I have that same dream. It's a recurring dream that I'm still in college, and I forgot to go to a class and I couldn't graduate. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I have a recurring dream. It's once a month.
There's probably some Freudian example or a conclusion for that. Yeah.
Got to get Dr. Larry back in here.
Oh, my God.
He's coming back, right?
Legit. I wake up and I'm like, oh, my God, I can't believe I didn't. Oh, wait. Oh, that was 20 years ago.
That's right.
Oh, that's right. Very cool. So for the people watching at home, I'm not sure if they've noticed, but Steve has a very nice mustache.
Oh, my God.
If you haven't noticed as well, Todd has a very nice mustache.
Yeah, so we have a little club going here at IPD Jiu-Jitsu.
Scary.
Started by Shane.
Yeah.
And now I think we're kind of falling like dominoes. We're going to have...
Yeah, I think we got more coming.
Yeah, my wife says nobody will sign up at the gym with this mustache. I challenge her.
I had my concerns, but then I was like, I realized tonight, like when you and I started rolling,
the power that came from your mustache.
It's 2 mustaches. That's like 2 of us rolling, and both of us have mustaches. That's intense.
I didn't even think.
Did you think about that?
No, I didn't, and I was wondering why there was like bolts of lightning, like.
Yeah. No, I felt fire.
I just don't want to be around this anymore.
Podcast complete.
We're done. Gotta go.
All right.
I like it. That's good.
It's good porn stash.
Family hates
Cassandra, could you kind of run down your resume a little bit so the audience understands what you're all about?
I am a doctor, so you can call me Dr. Cassandra. No, just kidding.
Nice.
I like that.
So I have my doctorate in kinesiology, which is exercise science from the University of Connecticut. That's why I came here to the U.S. in 2004. I actually drove myself across the country by myself, did 12-hour days with a roll of toilet paper and a bunch of food, and that was like it.
Where'd you poo?
On the side of the road. That's why I had the roll of toilet paper.
Nice.
Well, up in the Yukon, it didn't matter.
It wasn't the Yukon.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, it was Alberta all the way across to Ontario.
What is it? Was it in Szechuan?
No, I did go past Szechuan. I did go past that. It was very flat. You just kind of can see from one end to the other. So anyway, I came here 2004 to start my doctorate in kinesiology. I studied ketogenic diets, which is like super popular Atkins diet stuff.
Mm-hmm. I got questions about that.
Yeah, and the whole time I was there as well, I did a lot of research in resistance training, muscle growth, fat loss, body recomposition, cardiovascular disease. So that was my PhD. My master's is from the University of Alberta in human metabolism, and it was on cholesterol metabolism using lard and palm oil, and I fed it to guys for 6 weeks each iteration. I did a feeding study, and I looked at how their body synthesized cholesterol after feeding a certain type of fat for a certain period of time. And that was really cool. And then my bachelor's is in just nutrition and food science. So I did a lot of stuff with like food chemistry because I like chemistry. I'm a little chemistry nerd. I like it. Like atoms and electrons.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
Was all of your education in Canada?
Nope. No.
Okay.
I did 6 years in Canada and 6 years in the U.S.
Did they recognize?
7 years in Canada.
The 6 to 7 years, did they recognize that in the U.S.?
Yes, it was very good education, actually.
It's like a third world up there. So
okay, actually, the education in Canada is really good. So
I'm waiting for it to jump across.
How many Canada jokes can we do tonight?
Yeah, okay, let's just stop that. Yeah. So, and then
never been to Canada. So.
Are you serious?
I've never been to Canada.
We're talking about me and not about Canada, actually. So you can just stop right now.
Jesus. Introduced as a Canadian
before
anything else.
Not a doctor. Not a doctor.
I'm so sorry.
You understand that I have not had any kind of criticism at all, or even made any mention.
No, Todd seems to like to bash on Canada for some reason. I feel like all the Canucks are going to come down.
How can I truly bash on something where I've never actually been there?
Yeah, so that means you're like uneducated. Actually,
you're right.
Yeah, pretty much.
But listen. Thank you. I've laid eyes on Canada.
Oh. How so?
I went to Niagara Falls.
Oh, wow. That's like, a big part of Canada.
Oh, look at Canada. Woo.
Ooh, it's water flowing over a bunch of rocks.
It wasn't really that great.
Okay,
sorry. Go ahead. Education.
So, bachelor's, master's, PhD, all in exercise science and nutrition, and I'm a registered dietitian, and I'm a certified strength and conditioning coach. And I'm a kettlebell certified, I'm resistance band certified, I am corrective exercise certified, I don't know. I've done a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That's education, and then accomplishments. I've written books. I've been on TV tours. I've been on radio tours. I've spoke across the country, both Canada and the U.S. I got invited to speak in Ireland this year, but then got canceled from COVID. I've been the headline only female speaker at pretty much every fitness conference out there. Awesome. I've always been the only woman that ever talked about resistance training. I'm like a pregnant.
That seems crazy.
I was always the only female. It would be me and like 7 guys, always, because there's not very many women that talk about resistance training that have the kind of credentials that I have. And there's actually, for women in exercise science, I'm one of like a very small handful of females out there. So
it's a male-dominated.
My whole industry, everything I do is male-dominated. Strength and conditioning, the training aspect of things, the sports nutrition, mostly all men. Pretty much, yeah. So
that's pretty crazy.
Interesting.
So I've kind of been there, done that. And so when I came to Todd, it was because I had my own gym in Vernon for a while, and I sold that to go back into academia. But I love coaching. I also teach yoga, and I do diet programs and help people lose weight. I've done a lot of stuff. So I came here to try to get more into Tolland, I guess, too, being in this town. And it's worked out pretty good because this is like the IPD family for me. So I'm one of the family.
Love it. So you had mentioned that you authored some books.
Yeah.
It just so happens.
I don't know how you got those.
We have some books.
Nice.
All right, and this one is called The New Rules of Lifting for Women with Cassandra York. Cassandra Forsythe.
No.
This was Cassandra Forsythe.
Yep, Forsythe is the last
name. Schuler. Yep. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And so, What's this one about?
Lifting?
Give me the
So,
gist of this one. The gist one.
Okay, so that was written, I authored that in 2007, published in 2008. And basically, women have always kind of gone to the treadmill and the step mill or an aerobics class rather than go in the weight room. And this is one of the very first books out there to encourage women to start lifting weights with a purpose. Mm-hmm. And the byline of that book is lift like a man, look like a goddess. So it wanted women to lift more like men, like bench press, deadlift, all these kind of things like guys would typically go in the gym and do. Like instead of girls going in and being like some tricep kickbacks and maybe like, some crunches on the bench and then leave the weight room. And I was always one of the women that was the only woman in the weight room. I always lifted. I could always like hang with the guys, like leg press, hack squats, bench press, pull-ups. I was doing it all. And the reason why I got invited to write that book is because I was a T-Vixen on T-Nation, Testosterone Nation, which was this very popular, mostly men's, but weightlifting site.
Let's press pause on that
I
for a
was a
second.
T-Vixen, yeah.
So T-Vixen.
Like testosterone vixen.
What is that?
I was like a very muscular female that lifted.
Oh, okay.
And but feminine. And there wasn't very
Fine.
many women that did that. Like I was really one of the only few women that didn't look like a male bodybuilder. You know what I mean?
You had me at Vixen.
I have questions on that too.
But then I also had the education behind it. So there's like a lot of like there you can find a dime a dozen, like a girl in like a little Speedo thing doing her like gluteus kickbacks in the gym, but not a lot of females that can also like really actually lift with a program and then know the nutrition part of it. And that's kind of where I had more than most women.
There's a lot of the hand in hand, right, of diet. Everyone says diet and exercise are the two.
That's why I did both.
And that's why it's
like a perfect
really
marriage.
Is hand in hand, and this is I've
Absolutely.
learned a tremendous amount from her.
And you see that we'll talk about like supplements and all that stuff later, but that's one of the things that just it's hand in hand. When you get to a certain, what seems like to me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but when you get to a certain level from, when it comes to strength training, conditioning, and, bodybuilding, whatever else, there just gets to a point where you need to supplement your diet with something to make the gains to be able to compete at a certain level.
Yeah, there's a lot of additives you can put in, like creatine, beta-alanine, branched-chain amino acids, buffering agents, ATP enhancers. There's a lot of stuff out there.
What's a buffering agent?
Helps to buffer lactic acid buildup because that's one of the things that is an indicator of fatigue and contributes to fatigue. So you can take things to help combat.
What would that be? Is there a brand name on that?
Bicarbonate would do that. That's one of the things.
Like a sodium bicarbonate?
Kind of. That's baking soda, but you would use a different bicarbonate substance.
Okay.
It takes the burn out?
Takes the burn out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when you're
Training
working
does
out
that
and you
too.
get that burn.
Training does
Lactic
that too, but
Buffer.
you can have things that can help reduce that. And there's things like tart cherry juice has like some things that can bring that stuff down. And
I need some buffer.
And then there's recovery agents. So one of the bigger thing is like if you're exercising regularly, it's getting right back in the gym or on the mat or under the bar or whatever it is. And so having things that can help you recover quicker. And that's a big thing as well as recovery, especially as people age or if they're starting a new program and they're adding like they're leveling up and things, your body starts going, hey, I only can do this for so long before I'm going to plateau and then go around the other way.
Yeah.
So you can extend that length that you can climb with certain things. So
Excellent.
So anyway, that was one book.
Great. So and then there's a follow-up
No, that's a different book. That was a different company.
to.
So at the same time, I wrote these books at the exact same time as I did my dissertation for my PhD. So in 1 year, I did 2 books and a PhD dissertation.
So
Not impressed.
Not
going
impressed.
hand in hand with what you were talking about.
Yeah, I'm not impressed.
This one is The Perfect Body Diet.
Yeah, so that's a female book, obviously. So that was Women's Health Magazine actually reached out to me to write their very first diet book, essentially. They wanted their first diet book. And at the time, I was working in the research lab at University of Connecticut, and there was a glucomannan or konjac root we were working with that is a bulking agent that you can add to foods to create bulk. And I did do a really good job at the diets, but they wanted me to put this stuff, glucomannan, in all the meals. And it was cool because then at the time, I also created my own supplement. It was called Your Perfect Mannan. Like glucomannan, and it was a supplement in these little packets that you could put this powder in
Love
food.
it.
It was called Your Perfect Mannan, and it had a packaging. And my ex-husband at the time actually managed a product, and we did sales, and we
True
made some
innovator.
pretty good money. Yeah, it was really fun actually.
Yes.
Actually, I made up the name with a help of a friend when I was down in Florida speaking at a conference, and I was talking about glucomannan and whatever, and the book was called Your Perfect Body Diet, and he was like, Your Perfect Mannan, and I was like, perfect. So it was a help with my friend Jose Antonio, who runs the International Society of Sports Nutrition, and he's a professor down at in Boca Raton, Florida. He's a good friend of mine.
Boca.
So anyway, Boca. Yep. So this book is my friend Michelle, who lives here in Tulland as well. She designed the training program because at the time she was more experienced as a trainer than I. We did 4 different types of training programs, and we customized them by body type. So there are apple body types, pear body types, avocado body types, and banana body types. We had a whole fruit salad going on. So an avocado body type is a woman that would, like when she gains 5 pounds, it would evenly distribute between butt and waist. In an apple, it goes all to the belly, and in a pear, it goes all to the hips, and in a banana, they just never gain any weight. So in those different body types, like, so say, for example, you're more of a pear, you wouldn't want to do a lot of bulking stuff for your legs because they tend to get big. So we created a program that was more for like leaning out the legs. And then for the apples, it was more about like not putting a lot of bulk in the core. So there was no weighted ab exercise. It was only body weight and more isometric. And then in the avocado, it was kind of everything. And then the banana was like more bulking to put some like curves on the women.
Very specific.
And then the diet was, I stayed up for 48 hours straight to finalize the diets in that book. I remember like emerging from my basement suite at the time and being like, oh, there is sun. So I just stayed up for 48 hours straight, writing diets, calculating, using Excel, doing equations to figure out like how to match all the macros, because there had to be certain calories, certain percentage of protein, certain percentage of carbs, certain percentage of fat. And then the glucomannan had to be in there. So there had to be a certain amount of fiber. And it was very, very specific. Well, calculations.
I'm going to give you a day 14 low-calorie diet. For breakfast, no-crust vegetable quiche.
Yes.
With half cup fresh raspberries.
That sounds good.
2 fish oil capsules.
Yeah, well, fish oil, yeah.
I don't push that anymore. I take fish oil every day in my life.
I don't push it anymore because there's actually more research showing that you don't need it as much as they thought. So I don't push it anymore. But at the time, that was the thing that people were very much into.
That's weird because I have my Jocko krill.
Super krill.
That's krill, though.
Super krill.
Is
it drops or is it capsules?
Is krill fish?
It is.
Yeah.
No, shellfish.
It's shellfish.
Shellfish.
Okay. Yeah. Different. And I'll actually explain. That's high in something called Aztec xanthan, which is a red flavonoid that will, it has antioxidant properties that's more above and beyond than the omega-3s that are in there.
My God, can you just write down a bunch of shit for me
Aztec
to take
xanthan.
so that I don't?
We're going to have all this to reference.
No, I know, but I mean, like, I don't want to go back through this. Actually, I'm probably going to go back because I'm going to edit this anyway, so I'll be able to pick it out. But
yeah.
I just want to. You know what I think people want? I think they just want the one-stop, like, of just everything you need. I think like if they just had there
was these supplement packs they used to make, but
I remember that like they had
supplement packs,
animal
packs,
yeah,
yep.
Animal,
but they have them for women, they have for
Joe
men.
Weider animal pack or whatever they were. They were like the packs, and they had like 27 pills in them. And you were like,
first and foremost, though, it's diet. Obviously, that is your baseline. If you don't have that, none of the pills will make any difference.
Sure.
So what else is on that?
So your snack. This is delicious. Garden asparagus with leek soup.
Oh, it was good, actually. Women like vegetables. There's a lot of vegetables and produce in that diet.
Lunch, rainbow broccoli slaw.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
With boiled shrimp, peeled, deveined. Deveined.
Isn't shrimp just like the...
I thought that was a food.
The fucking, like the cheap fucking cow of the ocean.
Yeah, but it's tasty. And it would taste good with a broccoli slaw.
So,
something different.
But isn't it like high in cholesterol and like...
No, a different type of sterol. It's not cholesterol that you would find in eggs. It has a different type of sterol that does not increase blood cholesterol levels.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, so I also need to... Yeah, I'll talk
She's
to you
a
about
doctor.
It later. I know. I've got to pepper her.
And cholesterol is
questions.
actually very important. Cholesterol is a precursor of vitamin D, testosterone, progesterone, pregnenolone, androstenedione, all that stuff. So if you don't have cholesterol, you're going to have shitty hormone levels. Yeah, you want to tank your testosterone? Cut all your cholesterol out and take a statin, and you'll have like no erections and no sex drive.
All right, this is a family show.
Okay.
Thanks.
That's crazy.
Glucoberry proteins.
We
sorbet.
talked about that before.
Yes, so that was the glucomannan in a sorbet. Yeah.
Okay. Dinner is coconut curry shrimp.
Oh my God, that's delicious.
1 cup steamed Brussels sprouts. Snack.
Where's the machine?
Chocolate cake smoothie.
Yeah.
Page 192. This probably would tell me like
Chocolate
exactly
cake
what's in there.
smoothie.
So
But it's probably
worked.
like a protein powder.
So at the time when I was doing this, I had 3 roommates, and one of my roommates really loved to cook. So she helped create some of the recipes. So I made $70,000 off that book, and then royalties.
What?
No, that was the book that I got 60,000. I got 77 for the other one. So I got 60,000 for that book. No royalties on that. Royalties on that one. That one's made me a lot of money. So this one, it's made $60,000, but of it, taxes, blah blah blah, and then had to go up to Canada because at the time I was a Canadian citizen, an American citizen, and then I paid Michelle to help make some of the diet or make the workouts, and I paid Brianna to make some of the diets. So I think I came out of that with $40,000,
Nice.
like after taxes and everything like that, and then I graduated from my PhD of 12 years of education with 0 debt because of that book and that book.
That's awesome.
And then at the time I was also working for Men's Health magazine, and I was writing the self-health food columns and like other stuff. And I'd get like for a little column like this big, I get $3,000. They used to pay so much in the magazine industry. They don't do it anymore. So when I was in grad school, I made killer money.
Nice.
Killer money. And they paid me a $3,000 stipend. So I made $3,000 a month to go to school, plus a travel stipend, plus a research stipend, plus I wrote the books, plus I worked for Men's Health magazine writing for them. It was nuts. So I graduated no debt, PhD.
Yeah.
That's like my selling point in
That's
life.
why you're a doctor.
That's amazing.
Listen, chocolate cake smoothie. 1/2 cup, 1% cottage cheese. 1/3 cup of water. 1 scoop of chocolate whey protein powder. 1 tablespoon ground flax seeds. 4 grams glucomannan
It's a
and ice cubes.
powder.
In a blender.
Yeah, so the glucomannan, they wanted me to put it in like every recipe, and I didn't want to. I was like, I don't think it needs to be, but they're like, well, to sell it, it has to be this. So I didn't love that necessarily. I also had a writer work with me on this book. She was really awesome. She's down in Stanford. That was really cool because I'm not a professional writer. Like I write, but there's a certain voice you have to have. So she massaged the voice of women's health. So
cool.
It was a very cool experience. And then that book that you have there, I just wrote the foreword too because I was known as
listen,
being.
I'm very impressed with the cover.
Well, that's Kelly Contreras.
Hi, Kelly.
Or
I was
Kelly Davis. I'm sorry. That's Brett Contreras.
I was just talking about like it's very shiny.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's just very like
So-
durable.
So Brett Contreras, he's known as the glute guy. He actually reached out to me because I had written those 2 books. I had been a really powerful name in the industry, and he reached out to me because he wanted to write his own book. And he said, "How did you do it, Cass?" And I helped him, and then he had me write the foreword. So that was really cool. So that's a book about glute building.
Strong curves.
Yep. So that's a great book.
A better butt and body.
Yeah. So that was a lot of glute stuff.
Big thing on Instagram right now.
Well, butt stuff
Butts?
is like, well, not butt stuff. I mean, butt exercises. Let's just not go
I
there.
only do over the pants butt stuff.
Yeah. And then my latest book
my God,
you don't
that's not
have, but I did.
But I can't.
You got to
I
stop.
got to pause on that though
Stop.
because that was awesome. That was a good moment in time.
Listen. big
You are
fan.
wearing tight jeans.
Goddamn,
Those
they're
are
the most
skinny
comfortable
jeans.
goddamn jeans.
They're
just
skinny jeans.
can't.
Look.
Men should not wear skinny jeans.
Listen.
Okay, fine.
they're
They look
super
fine on you.
comfortable. They look okay on me.
They do, but I just
Thank you.
I like
on,
rednecks that
hold on
don't
for a
wear.
second.
I like rednecks that wear Carhartts.
Hi, hon.
I can wear Carhartts.
You're on the podcast.
Hi, Kristi.
Oh, hi, guys. I forgot you were doing the podcast. Sorry about that.
Hey,
And
Kristi.
I'm sorry for you, Cassandra. I'm really sorry.
All right. Is it important?
No, I was going to ask you to pick up Mallory, but
I can't wait. I can't wait to edit this.
Okay. Sorry, honey. You
I'm
can
sorry.
put Chrissy's very beautiful picture.
I'm
up
going
there.
to
Yeah, okay.
100%. It's gonna have like the little lines like when she talks. It'll like go like this.
Oh my god.
That's gonna be so great. Okay, love
which
you.
picture is it? Was it my glamour shot?
It might be.
Oh,
Never-
man.
Did you do glamour shots?
She
Did
did
you do
when
glamour
we were in
shots?
high school. She did.
Oh my god. Totally
I had
put
a
that up
mullet.
there.
It was really beautiful. And a feather boa.
Holy
Feather
for you.
boa.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, love you.
That one.
Love you, bye.
Jesus.
Bye.
Can I call somebody?
That was. I know. All right, and thank you for sharing that info on your books.
What about the last one? I didn't tell you about the last one.
Please continue.
Okay, see.
What's the next one?
It's called the No Bloat Diet. So that was done with Prevention Magazine, and it was for farting, and pooping, and diarrhea, and constipation. So it's a book about IBS and the diet, that low FODMAP diet for IBS. And Prevention Magazine reached out to me to write that book for them.
Cassandra created something called FLAG. Okay. To my knowledge, it's the Fat Loss Accountability Group. So it's
Ooh.
okay. So it's basically fat camp. It's fat camp. So
Really?
what she does is she comes into the gym
And tells you you're all fat.
we have a bunch of people sign up, and she educates us on how to eat, what we should be eating, what we should be how we should be exercising, and she has a spreadsheet, and you're supposed to be like putting ones or zeros.
0.5s.
Or 0.5s if you're doing. She'll explain it more, but it's like a brilliant system.
When can we do it again?
So can I tell you how I created that program?
I would love to hear.
Okay, so I was at a like a boot camp kind of conference for gym owners, and I was sharing a hotel. What is that talking?
If Steve will edit that out later. It's a bunch of people out there talking. It's Pam probably.
Pam, stop talking.
Okay. Go ahead. Flag. Sorry.
Okay, flag. So I created the flag program. I was at this like boot camp conference thing for people that own gyms. And I was staying with this girl, Concita Thomas. She lives down in Dallas. And when we were sharing hotel room, we were like just hanging out, like waiting for, whatever we had to do the next day. We started talking about like fat loss programs and like how to put everything together. And I created flag in a hotel room in about an hour one night when we were just hanging out, not drinking either. Like there's no alcohol involved actually. And that program now has made me hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let's not go into the hundreds. Probably up to $100,000 total I've made from that program.
Really?
Yeah, I've run it so many different times. I've had different variations of it. And basically what it is when you want to lose weight or stay on a program, it's having accountability is really important. So having people there to encourage you, but then also someone to check in and say that you have, the talking in the background is like getting to me. But anyway.
I can try to silence them.
Yeah. Why don't you do that?
I got a big mustache. I'll do it.
It's totally.
You can handle that.
It's very loud.
It gets distracting.
It's
I know.
not
but
really like loud in here.
It's not terrible, but what happens is it gets a little bit distracting. But, and you know what what I'm gonna do? They have those on-air signs.
Oh yeah.
You know those light-up signs?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have one on the outside when that's lit up.
And then it electrocutes people.
Or just it says shut the front door. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. All right. So you created a flag.
So flag is very cool because the accountability, but you're also looking at you have a tracker that tells you like where you're at for the week. Like so you're trying to aim for a certain percentage. I think I dropped truffle chocolate down my boobs here.
Wow.
It's having people seeing how you're doing because there's a visual tracker that everyone can see, so they can see if you've got zeros or 0.5s or 1s. And the way their tracking system works is like when you eat a compliant meal that has a protein and a produce, you get a 1. If you have a compliant meal and it has something that you shouldn't have in there, like candy or chocolate or something that like you get a 0.5, you have to deduct off of it. If you don't have anything good or you just blow the whole meal, you put a 0. So each meal is given a score of a 1, a 0.5, or a 0. And then the average of, say, 6 meals plus a post-workout plus a positive affirmation plus your daily exercise of moving your body for 30 minutes does not mean like you have to go to the gym or anything like that, but just doing something purposeful for 30 minutes, you get an average for the day, and then averages for the week, and your whole goal is to have 80% compliance for the week. And people can all see this. You've got everyone on the list, you got everyone's meals and scores, and so it's really motivating because you get that instant feedback of like, okay, where am I at for the day, or what am I looking at tracking at for the day, and then what did my week look like, and then you get to look back and go, oh, why haven't I made any changes in 3 weeks? Oh, because I've been at 50% compliance for the whole week, or I keep like blowing like this meal. So it's like instant feedback, and then there's also feedback from me helping people to like know like what are they missing, or what can they do, how can they make it easy. And it's easy because it's not counting calories. It's not following a defined meal plan. There is no crazy recipes. Like, I freaking hate cooking. Like, I like making component meals. Like, I'll make rice and salmon and broccoli, but I don't like taking 50,000 ingredients and putting them together. Yeah. It's just not my thing. I'm not a really great cook in that way, but I like making healthy meals. So I just help people like figure out how to do it easy. But if you want to make it complex, I got recipes for you. And a lot of my simplicity of eating personally comes from my days as being in bodybuilding and fitness, where you had to count your macros, and it's way easier to count it if it was just like one thing instead of a recipe that you had to like figure out all that stuff.
I had a friend that I absolutely loved that I worked with a little while ago who was did bodybuilding, but it was, what is it? Figure
fitness.
Yeah,
I did
whatever.
that.
Oh, outrageous, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I love
clear
her.
heels,
and she's
bikinis.
Yeah,
Fake tan.
and she talks, and I talk to her quite a bit about just like diet and exercise and nutrition and stuff like that. But that's something that she'll post, Carly. She'll post on like her Instagram, like different macros and different counts and whatever. Like it's a this day or it's a that day, but it's completely tied to her regimen getting up to competition.
Right. And that's a different story. That isn't your everyday healthy eating. And that's
No, that's a totally different thing.
That is actually very dysfunctional eating because it is so defined. It is so controlled. It actually leads to a lot of eating disorders and mental health problems because you can't eat this, can't eat that. You're only allowed to be at these many macros in a day. What I do with Flag is teaching lifestyle skills. Mm-hmm. It's meant to be something that you do forever, that you learn. Protein and a produce in a meal. That's it. That's all you got to do. You don't have to count calories. You don't have to weigh anything. It's simple.
I got a question for you related to this. Right.
Okay.
So a little while ago, a few years ago, and I've done it twice. Second time, first time was better, right? That was pretty good.
It was good.
That was gross.
I was like, damn, you got a fart machine too?
That was like a wet fart.
I got a fart machine. It's right here. The Whole30. What do you think of the Whole30?
So actually, I know the author of the Whole30. We kind of all know each other in this industry.
Yeah.
It is very restrictive.
Super restrictive.
But what the Whole30 can do for some people is help people identify things that may be causing them issues, either inflammatory
exactly
issues,
right.
digestive
Okay,
issues.
good.
But it is very, very restrictive. It is not meant to be a lifestyle. And a lot of people think, like, if I don't follow the Whole30 100% to the T for the rest of my life, I'm just going to be fat. And that's where the detriment to it. But it could be, that's probably how they had to write the book to make it seem like, that's all you need to do. No one's cracking.
It's an RTD.
It's
an RTD.
No one's cracking a beverage in here at all.
Oh, it's a
Jocko Go.
Jocko
That's
Discipline Go
that's
Force Multiplier.
Yeah.
Is that your second one?
Dude, I'm not sleeping until next week.
Jesus.
Woo!
Wow.
That's
okay.
that bow and arrow you threw on me earlier, whatever the hell that was. That was probably Jocko induced.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
He liked it.
Walk like goddamn Yoda for the next 2 days. So here's the deal.
Yeah.
When I went through that Whole30,
Yep.
I will tell you the one thing that I learned from the Whole30 is, and I was beyond like religious about it. Like I would go
is
to
a religion.
I would go to the store, and I'm telling
like
you
a
right
cult,
now,
actually.
it was the craziest thing. I would go to the store just to shop.
Yeah.
For
The special things.
ingredients.
Yep.
Take me like 3 fucking hours to
Yeah.
figure out. Like I would get vinegar.
It's the worst.
And I'd be like, I can't. Oh, no, wait a minute. Is wine sugar? Wait, what?
Yep.
What? And I legit went on a website, and I would say, is it okay if I have this type of whatever? And I
Yep.
would just forego it if I couldn't have it. But it was crazy. I got a couple things out of it. I still eat some of the dishes that I prepared for the Whole30 because they
Yep.
were so goddamn delicious. Absolutely fantastic.
Right.
And secondly, it was, and I knew that there was a lot of shit in food already, but going through the Whole30 and
Feces
being
is not
restricted
good.
to that point, yeah, poo-poo.
Poo and food is not good. Okay. Yes.
But regardless, like you
Yes.
get to the point where you're like, you look at what's in the
Yeah.
the
It's
list
an
of
awareness.
ingredients, and you're like, holy shit. So it was eye-opening for me on that level.
Absolutely. 100%.
I noticed that I was overeating pretty much at every single meal because I was preparing food for just myself,
Yep.
and my eyes are bigger than my stomach. So I was like,
Aren't we all?
so I didn't lose any weight, but I definitely got like a very like really solid, and I think that's probably what that flag thing is too. It gives you a really good understanding of like holistically like how to.
Yeah, Flag's a little easier because I didn't get into like you have to like read every ingredient on a label. But again, like I just tried to get people to learn macros, like learn
Yeah.
like what's a protein, what's a produce, and why is that important to have, and how good you feel when you include both of them.
Yeah.
And of course,
wanna yell at them?
yeah, please feel free to yell at them again.
You want me to yell at him again?
Oh, of course. I gotta.
I'll
I'm
just
actually.
do my mustachioed. It's pretty good.
Cassandra, do you have a website?
It's not up right now, so.
Okay, all right.
It can social media me.
Okay, because I was just
I had
curious.
CassandraForsythe.com, but I let it down.
Let it go. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I didn't want to pay the server anymore.
All right, so yeah, I'm sorry about the distractions out there. This is a non-soundproof office. Okay, so thank you, Steve. Thank you. Okay. You know what's cool about Flag, Steve?
Talk to me.
You can have sausage.
Hell yeah.
You can have bacon.
Hell.
You can eat tacos.
Really?
You can have high fats. You can have all the vegetables you want.
Yeah.
You can, you want to stay away from the fruit juices, things like that. But you want to have, fruits are good. The one thing that really surprised me, and Cassandra can educate you more on this, is that you need to stay away from white flour.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh
White
yeah, that's
flour.
the devil.
White flour's garbage.
That's the devil.
Yep.
And a lot of people do not know that. They don't know like what white flour. What does that mean? It's the stuff in your cabinet, but they don't understand how many foods it is in.
White flour, you can get it wet. Use it for wallpaper paste. Wow.
Oh yeah, paper mache.
So can you elaborate, like maybe some foods off the top of your head that have white flour in that we should stay away from?
Bagels, muffins, wraps, crackers,
Pasta.
pita chips, pasta.
Really, pasta? What
That's
about
what pasta
what about
is.
whole wheat pasta?
Is it even whole wheat? It is literally ground up flour with a couple flecks of like bran in it, and
that
endosperm
is
maybe.
true.
See what I
Like
mean?
legit.
So what do you do? Rice pasta?
No, I don't do any pasta.
You don't do any pasta.
Spaghetti squash.
Yeah, that's good. I like that stuff.
Good shit.
Yeah, that's
It's
Yep.
really good.
Spaghetti squash is good. I just don't do pasta. No, listen. Italians, they do eat pasta, but they make their own fresh pasta. A little bit of a different story. And they don't have humongous portions. They have smaller portions.
Yeah, exactly.
And they have a diet that is very rich in vegetables and olive oil and olive products. They don't eat a lot of processed stuff, and they shop fresh all the time. Like when you go to Europe, people like they always say like French women don't get fat. Italians, like in Italy, like in the part where it's more rural, not where it's like become more commercialized and they're eating McDonald's and whatever else, or fast food. They're thin because it's shopping regularly, moving, not sitting. Actually, in Europe, their cars don't have coffee cup holders because people don't eat on the run.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No cup holders.
No cup holders.
That would be so
Well, I mean, the
annoying.
cars are pretty freaking small there, so there you go. Like, you gotta like
my
make room for
gosh.
that shit.
Yeah,
But
that was
The
but,
Fiestas, man.
But no, like people there don't like in the rural part. If we're not talking about the cities, because the cities have become what they're here. People are they move fast, they think fast, they be fast, And actually, parts of Europe it's much slower. Like one of my roommates in college, he was from Portugal, and in Portugal they take the whole month of August off. Like no one works, and there's naps during the day, and there's like lots of vacation time. They're so much healthier people. The East Coast of the U.S. is probably one of the most unhealthiest because we are like go, 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 push, 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 stress, stress, stress.
We don't have
achieve,
to be.
achieve,
That's the thing.
achieve.
We don't have to be.
See, I'm going
We're
to challenge you on
convinced we
that
have to be.
because
I'm that person.
well, I'm going to
actually.
challenge you a little bit because I'm going to see what you have to say. When I was selling pharmaceuticals, we used to.
You sold drugs.
I did,
Okay.
but we used to talk to physicians about diabetes and cardiovascular disease, high cholesterol, things like that. And then we had a map of heart disease in this country, and northeast was actually okay, pretty good. The deep south was red.
Okay, so
Red.
So part of that is because there is much more medical attention here in the Northeast. We're richer. We have most of the doctors, New York, Boston, Massachusetts, New York, that kind of stuff. Like, so there's a lot more ability to treat. But in the South, like it's kind of backwards there. Like they're like a year behind in education. They do eat a lot of food. They sit around a lot. It's a slower lifestyle, but also like less educated, much more educated here, like a knowledge of what could be better.
Okay.
So there is a lot down there, but there's a different type of lifestyle. In general, North America is, I mean, even Canada's gotten so bad. I just went back like 2 years ago and I was just kind of appalled at how fat my relatives have gotten.
Oh no.
Poutine.
It's crazy time. Not my relatives that work on the farm, but my relatives that have become engineers and sit at desks and stuff, like huge amounts of obesity. Because they're meant to be farmers. Like most of my family are these big men with big hands and big, women that like are strong and they like throw hay bales and stuff. But then the ones that got away from farming and went and sat at desks got fat because their genetics were meant to work and move. And then they sit them down and then they try to eat like they did as farmers. And there's not a match up there. It's like too much in and not enough out.
Not expending it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it is kind of scary because we sit a lot as a society. We drive to get most places. Like when I was living in Canada and going to school, I walked to school every day. And even in the winter when it was like minus 40 Celsius, which is the same as Fahrenheit, with a wind chill, it was like crispy cold air for like 3 months straight. It was awful. But I would walk to school wearing 4 layers of clothes, and I'd put my backpack on the front of me when I'd walk just to stay warm.
Minus
40 for 3 months straight. It was really freaking screwed up. That was in Edmonton. Really cold place. Really cold place. So, I walked, I biked everywhere. I barely ever drove my car. Like I maybe put like 10,000 miles on my car in a year. I biked everywhere, walked everywhere, did everything. Then I moved here and I tried to do the same thing. I tried to bike to University of Connecticut. People tried to run me off the road. I tried to, people tried to kill you. So I just don't. Now I've gotten onto a new habit of like, I have to drive to work and come home, but then I'll get on my mountain bike and I'll go out. And I schedule my exercise like people schedule like a lunch date. It's every day, or schedule something like it's a scheduled part of my day. Like my day is not complete until I get activity in. And that is something that people don't think about anymore. They just they leave school, college, and, they walked a lot in college, or maybe they played a sport or intramurals or whatever, and they go out in the real world and no one's telling them when they're supposed to lift, or no one's telling when they don't have an intramural sport to go to, and they end up getting fat and out of shape. I try to teach my students that this needs to be something that you do all the time. This is your lifestyle. This is something you have to schedule and make part of your day. And then for me, I've made it my career. So I teach boot camp, I teach yoga, I'm constantly moving, and I also have to look the look and walk the walk and talk the talk, like yourself, Todd. Like, you can't show up on the mat and be the fat guy that can't move. You have to be able to
That would be fucking hilarious.
That'd be amazing. I mean, you could probably be the fat guy as long as you could rest. Like, you kick the shit out of people, but you probably wouldn't be able to kick the shit out of people if you weren't as fit as you were.
Sure, I understand.
And things, as we get older, we get a little bit more relaxed and we can let body fat creep up. But if we know how to set back, like you did really good in flag. You dropped some body fat. You got really lean. You were doing really great.
Put some muscle on. Yeah,
were you doing really good? You and your wife too. Your wife made a whole big change in a different direction too. But it has to be this thing that's part of you. And a lot of people don't make it part of you. They forget like how powerful exercise and nutrition are. It's you. It's I'm turning 41 in December. And I don't feel like I look or act like someone who's 41. I definitely do not act.
How old do you think Todd is?
41.
How old do you think I am?
I don't know that, actually.
Oh, my God. Let's do it.
Okay.
I really don't.
Yeah, I want to know. Because the mustache is going to throw you off a little bit.
Are you younger or older than Todd?
I'm not going to answer that question. I just need you to, because here's the deal.
42?
Jenny, that's not bad.
That's good.
Jenny is got her degree in dietetics. I mean, when you were over, we were talking about that before,
which
right?
I felt so bad I didn't recognize her. Oh my God,
it doesn't matter.
Tell her I'm sorry.
It does matter.
I couldn't remember her face.
I recognize you, Jenny. Always.
I recognize you too, baby. I love you.
Okay. Yeah.
So the thing is, like we at our house, we eat right.
Yeah.
Have a couple cocktails every now and then, but quality over quantity.
Right. Quality.
Work out, do jiu-jitsu, do strength training, do all those things, run, whatever. Like, I feel like that is some 45. I don't feel 45.
You don't look 45.
And people say I don't look 45. Now, after tomorrow morning, I'll feel 45. I'll feel fucking 75. It'll be like, it was Roman that said, like, it's like the evolution of man poster, when they start and then they like slow, like that's me at the beginning. Like, I'm like right after.
You mean because you got messed up tonight in jits? Or because.
A little something.
You
just get a little crank here and then, and you're like, oh, God. But
See, I
wake up in the morning.
I don't wake up. Do you know what it is? I don't beat my body up anymore. Like with yoga, literally, I've switched from strength training to yoga. I don't wake up and like my ankles hurt when I get out of bed. My back doesn't hurt. None of my joint.
It's not a complaint. Like my thing's not a complaint. Like without a doubt. Like we do what would we call it? A combat sport? Or
no, you do. No,
very much so.
It's absolutely.
Yours isn't that. Jits is great because it is mostly body weight. But I mean, like when I was lifting really heavy, like I put my thumb joint out of place because I was pressing 65s overhead in each hand. Like I was getting like beastly. I was 10 pounds heavier than I am now. I was thick and it was not comfortable. And now I'm like, I feel really good with all the yoga I do.
Let me ask you,
much more feminine at least too.
So I think that like diet and exercise are important.
Absolutely.
Taking care of yourself, getting enough sleep, all that stuff. Like, and I feel like we're hardwired.
Love naps.
We're hired to do that. We're not hired to do that.
You're hired.
We're hardwired. I was going to say we're hardwired to do that. At least us, like my family, and what.
Right.
So, what was the question I was going to ask you? What would you, if you had like a elevator pitch for fitness and nutrition I have 2 questions, but this is the first one. Actually, let me ask the other one first.
She might not know what an elevator pitch is.
I do know what an elevator
Oh, you do?
pitch
Okay.
is.
I didn't know.
Business.
You had to tell me.
Anyway,
Quick.
if you so number 1 would be what would you say to, and I've heard this from a number of different people, what would you say to a woman that you say, let's do some strength training, let's get on a program, and we'll really get you to, and their response is, I won't do weights, I don't want to look like a man.
Oh, that's my whole life. Like, literally. The book, Lift Like a Man, Look Like a Goddess.
Okay.
So
that's the first thing, because everything that I've gathered from this is.
Can I get naked for a second? Too? I'm really hot and sweaty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
This just turned into a party.
I just need to
Shit,
take
am
my
I doing
hoodie
it
off.
too? Are you supposed to take your shirt off?
I just need. I'm just hot. Sorry.
Jesus.
I'm getting sweaty.
That's fine.
Don't be flexing down on us now or anything.
Outstanding. So here's the deal. Like, I think that's a significant concern for a lot of women.
A lot of women think
is
that.
that immediately they start doing their strength training, right? And then all of a sudden, immediately, they're going to become Lou Ferrigno or fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger in a dress or something. You know what I mean? So. Is that a myth that you can just dispel, right?
Okay, so
Can you
that
just shut that down?
that has been the thing that I have been working on since 2005. Okay, for the last 15 years, I have been working on trying to get women to lift weights without the fear that they're going to get bulky.
Yeah.
And yes, you're going to get heavier. I tell women, I'm like, ignore the scale, but you're going to look smaller. You're going to look a tighter package, but you're going to weigh more, because no, muscle does not weigh more than fat. Muscle weighs the same as fat. 1 pound of muscle is the same as 1 pound of fat. Muscle is denser and more nice to look at than a big blob of fat, though. So I've had my own gym. I've trained a lot of women, and they'll tell me, they're like, the scale's gone up by 5 pounds. And I'm like, well, how do your clothes fit? Well, my pants are really loose right now. I'm like, so what the hell are you talking about? So let's just ignore.
Exactly.
So I always say, my saying is, scales are for fish. Don't step on the weight scale. It's stupid. But what lifting does for women, it boosts testosterone levels. And in women, that is a great confidence booster, just like it is for men. Okay. I have had women that have told me that their husbands were getting them to stack wood, or to like take down the deck or whatever, or they're breaking down the deck and stuff, and they're like, I was so proud because I could swing the sledgehammer, or I was picking up all these boards, these 2x4s, and it was like nothing. And it's such a confidence booster for a woman to be able to do things like open the pickle jar without asking the guy to do it. That kind of stuff is very empowering for women. And no matter what woman says, who she's all independent, I can do things on their own, she wants to, she does want a guy or another female, whatever, someone to be taking care of her in some way or another. But that strength gives them this confidence that nothing else can replace. Nothing at all. No amount of makeup or hairspray or whatever, glamour, whatever. When you've got strength, physical strength, there is something to that nothing else can touch. So I try to tell women, okay, here, actually going back for a second. When I was teaching boot camp at this one location, there was this one woman that said to me, she's like, I want to lift weights, but I don't want to look like you. Oh. And I was like, what do you mean? And she goes, she goes like this. She goes, I don't want my arms to have the bump on them. And I'm like, oh, you mean like a bicep? I'm like, those are really functional. Now she goes back. She's like, I can't believe I ever said that to you. But she was Asian, and Asian women had straight arms. There was no bumps. There was no tricep. There was no bicep, nothing. And she was like, I don't want to have bumps on my arms. I don't want to have calves. I don't want to have quads. I don't want to look like you. I want to be straight and skinny. And I was like, well, then you might be in the wrong place.
Yeah, there's cultural stuff.
There was a cultural thing. But now she came up to me and flexed. Like, this was 5 years later. She was like, look at that. And I was like, so it was something she had to get over in her head. And you do not need to look like you have man arms. Like, there are some women that want to have very muscular bodies, especially the CrossFit females now are extremely muscular. Like, their abs are
big.
Yeah.
Big.
And that is their culture, and good for them. If that's what they like, whatever you want to look like, and they feel good, and that's great. But a lot of women don't necessarily want to look like that. So I think CrossFit is getting a little bit intimidating for a lot of women, because the women are looking like very, very muscular, and that's not as appealing as it would.
So talking about CrossFit, another cult.
It is a cult.
Without a doubt.
It is a cult. It's a very great family community, though. We do have to recognize that the thing that CrossFit does very well is they create community. It's people's third place. So people have three places: work, home, and hopefully the gym. Hopefully not the bar. So you want to be, as a community, people's third place. And that's what CrossFit does very well. They create a family.
Can you dispel the next myth that is, or is it a myth? CrossFit, compared to other activities, is more dangerous.
It's very ballistic. There's a lot of Olympic lifting. They do put a lot of load. They do things very fast without form. I actually have tried CrossFit a couple different times, and one time it was okay. I kicked everyone's ass. Like, I showed up and like dominated the whole place. And they're like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "I'm just someone that's fit that can do this. And you guys don't train very well. You only train one way, and you don't repeat anything, so you never got good." And then the next time I went to a different place, I ended up hurting my back really bad because we were doing Olympic lifting, and I can Olympic lift. I actually got trained by an Olympic lifting coach back in my early 20s. I was only allowed to use a broomstick before I was able to touch the barbell, all this kind of stuff. I know technique. I know the triple extension. I know how to use my arms like chains on my snatch on my snatch. You got to snatch it up. Anyway, because I could do it, they're like, "Oh, you do this really well. You should go heavier." And I was like, No, I'm good. I'm good where I'm at. They're like, No, you're like really good at this. Go heavier. And then I was like, I'm like, I'm going to go heavier. And then I hurt my back, and I was out for a month after that.
Is that when you broke your back?
No, so my spine is broken. So I have something called spondylolisthesis, and my L5-S1 are not connected, and it's a slip and a break on my vertebrae. My spine is really screwed up, but yet I am incredibly strong. And actually, I was just saying to the guy who runs the yoga studio that I teach at and practice at, my core from yoga is stronger than it has ever been doing any other sport or activity in my entire life, because body weight control, like I can literally get into headstand. Todd's seen it, legs up, legs down, like no bounce, just like never had that before. Even when I was in gymnastics, because I just didn't press enough. But anyway, my spine's broken.
Broken back.
My spine is broken, and yet I do everything.
This is why, again, I continue to say that at my age, our age, right?
I'm there with you.
If we, the thing is, like, if we do actually really consciously take care of ourselves, and take it seriously and have it become a lifestyle, we're not going to encounter the same issues. Here's another issue, right? There's a number of people that I know that are my age and or maybe a little bit older, in some cases a little bit younger. They have surrendered to quote unquote age or aging, and they just say, "Oh, getting old is just the worst." And well, now I just, I go for a walk every day, and I'm like,
you go for a walk?
You go for, like,
are you 80?
Oh, that's good. You can go for a walk. Fantastic. But, like, there are so many other things that you can do that really don't take up that much more time, that would put you in a way better. So I don't know what it is. I mean, from your perspective, like, what have you seen? Is it fear? Is it apathy? Is it laziness? Is it a crazy schedule? Is it, like, what are the excuses that people have to not, or is it a lack of education, which is the other part of it, not knowing that they can do, like, a Sworkit or whatever we call it, Sworkit, but like HIIT workouts or interval training. We have this app, Sworkit, that we use all the time. It's great. It's just like, it's all interval training. It's like, do burpees. Okay, good. Do mountain climbers. Do, Mason twists. Do whatever. So we just turn that on. Like on days when it's shitty.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to do weights. I don't want to go to the barn. It's fucking cold. The barn gets cold in the winter time.
I bet it does.
And I'm not going to go to jits because nobody's around or there's whatever else. I'll just be like, boom, do the thing.
Yeah, body weight stuff.
You know what keeps me moving? Jocko's Joint Warfare.
Oh, Lord. Can I see what's in that?
I was hoping you would ask that.
Yeah,
I want to see what she thinks.
So it's got glucosamine hydrochloride from shrimp and crab. So glucosamine is called an amino sugar, and it is one of the it makes up your extracellular matrix between their joints and between your joints. And I think it was 1,200 milligrams. Research that was done on 1,200 milligrams was good for decreasing inflammation between your joints. I never found any benefit of glucosamine personally, but
chondroitin.
It's not in here.
Oh.
Then this also has MSM, which is methane. MSN has actually shown some really good anti-inflammatory stuff. There's research on that. Turmeric, which comes from it's curry, and it's got 95% curcumoids, and that's anti-inflammatory as well. It's got sea cucumber. I'm not really familiar on sea cucumber.
Can I pause you on turmeric real quick?
Mm-hmm.
So
curry.
Turmeric, bioperine, or whatever, the black pepper.
That black pepper is
that
just a way to activate
right?
it.
Helps
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah.
So,
they put in a lot of supplements to activate.
Turmeric, just in general, like if you get the turmeric and curcumin, whatever, you're okay. You just take it and you'll get some anti-inflammatory benefits.
It's got some anti-inflammatory benefits. But you can also get anti-inflammatory benefits from not having a high sugar diet and eating well as well, like eating fruits and vegetables. But they just some of that came from like in India where there's a lot of curry, or in cultures where there's a lot of curry eaten. They had lower incidences of things like arthritis and heart disease, and they were attributing to that. But it could be other things that they also have.
Anything else in there that's
Boswellia serrata. I'm not even gonna. I don't have the research knowledge on that one. I'm not remembering about Boswellia, but it's got quercetin, which is like a vitamin C booster, and then sodium.
She's 41. She needs glasses.
Hyaluronate.
No shit. Why don't you put on your peepers?
I just was literally far. I just had to get it close. Hyaluronate. I don't know what hyaluronic acid possibly for tissue regeneration.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the Boswellia though, or the sea cucumber, but they're probably all for joints.
We'll get back
so
to
the
you.
thing is this: with all this stuff, no supplement is going to replace what you do to your body on a regular basis. If you're beating up your joints, if you're running a lot and your body isn't meant to run, or if you're lifting a lot and you're not doing it with the right form, or you're just putting too much stress on your joints, this still won't help. This can help to potentially prevent the breakdown, but it's not going to necessarily rebuild. It's more of a preventative. There's nothing really you can necessarily do to rebuild right now. Like at any point, you really have to just
rest.
You have to take care of your body. But you got to still exercise, so you got to find the right things for your body. So, I mean, this is great. It's got great stuff. This is a great company. They've got, I don't know if they do any research on any of these stuff, but.
I think the one thing that's a bummer about some of the supplements that are out there right now is they are tremendously cost prohibitive. Like if you're actually thinking, so this is the thing that I noticed, and it's across all industries, right?
Yeah.
Me spending as much time as I did in the outdoor industry, the thing that was always really pushed was, hey, you're going outside. Well, you're going to definitely need that $600 Gore-Tex jacket.
Oh my God.
And so this is like the whole thing is like that entire idea, that mindset is complete horseshit.
It is horseshit because I grew up in Canada and we literally just wore whatever we had.
Dude, you wear whatever
I never
you can.
had anything fancy. Move here and I'm like,
Exactly.
why are people so stylish when they're hiking?
I can't believe, and I continue to see it, and I just wish that people would get real. Like the experience that I had was like I had like a really nice Gore-Tex, the brand new Gore-Tex, and I was in South America and I was doing the Inca Trail. And I had this Gore-Tex jacket. And I was like, yeah, I got my Gore-Tex. And everybody else was wearing a fucking plastic, like, poncho.
Yeah, pretty
Little
much.
tiny plastic poncho. And
Right.
I'm just going right up. And I'm like, that probably was way less expensive than my fucking Gore-Tex.
Yeah, right.
But that's the thing. Like, we're convinced that we have to spend a tremendous amount of
consumerism.
money,
That's
right, to
consumerism.
get to this certain point
You
that
do
is
not.
related directly to performance.
Yeah.
You do not.
And I would love more people to be comfortable, being comfortable allowing that myth to be dispelled. Right?
So my Uncle Rob would always say, and I love Uncle Rob. He's still a pilot and commercial pilot. And he would always tell me when I was young, it's not how you play, it's how you look.
Wow.
But
That's terrible.
It was a joke. But
Oh.
So when you were on the Inca Trail in South America, or you looked better than the plastic bags.
I don't know. I feel like everybody was wearing them except for me. I felt like a fish out of water.
Yeah,
And I convinced Jen because I was in that mode. I was like, this is 100% the thing we absolutely need. And I worked for a company that made the stuff. So I was like, all right, I'm going to get Jen one. I'll have one, whatever. It was just, some of that was just crazy.
Huh.
True.
All right. I have a couple of questions. People get a sweet tooth, okay? And
good stuff.
you just need like some sort of sweetness in your life.
Right. Eat it.
Besides Lulu's truffles,
Yeah, definitely Lulu's truffles.
Eat as many Lulu's truffles
all
as
the
you can.
Lulu's truffles. Put all those balls in your mouth.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry, audience. Excuse me. Are sweet potato chips okay to snack on?
They're pretty high in oil. Like, not that the oil's bad, but it's usually vegetable oil, which is high in omega-6s, and that's can be kind of pro-inflammatory.
Okay.
You know what's really good is, like, baking. You can take a sweet potato, like, and you can warm it in the microwave or the oven. You could put some butter and some brown sugar and some cinnamon and make, like, a sweet potato, like, apple pie
That's
thing.
much better
Or
for
take
you.
an apple. You can, like, core up an apple and then, again, microwave or oven and some butter and some cinnamon and brown sugar and
Okay.
yeah.
Because yeah.
But now, do you want to do something quick? What's quicker than berries, strawberries, blueberries, or just freaking have the piece of chocolate? Like, I have a candy dish in my house of right now Kit Kats, and they're the mini ones, and I will have like one Kit Kat a day. Why not?
Wow.
What happened? Is it breaking?
No, it's just shaking a little bit, but I have the stabilization on. Don't worry.
I turned it off. I'll tell you why later.
Okay. So
good.
we have. How about marshmallows?
I had 5 today.
Nice. Now, but is it okay, or is
Why
it
not?
like?
Why is
but
it not okay?
Is it better than something else? Like, is it better than like a coffee cake?
Yeah, there's not that many calories in marshmallows relative to coffee
Okay.
cake. I don't know, like, Pam was laughing at me. She's like, oh, you had marshmallows and those aren't even that sweet or whatever. And I'm like, I don't even need that many. Like, I ate five marshmallows
Well,
today.
a grand total of 100 calories right
pretty
there.
much.
You know,
Like,
yeah.
I didn't eat chocolate bars or I didn't have pancakes with whatever for breakfast. I didn't eat any bagels. I didn't eat any junk stuff today. Like, today's meals were spaghetti squash and ground venison with tomato sauce. I had leftover salmon and white rice. This morning for breakfast, I have my corn Chex cereal with walnuts, my pea protein powder, and some banana sliced on it. Like, I don't eat junk, like
Right.
people for breakfast, like Nature Valley granola bar or like bagel with cream cheese. Like, I eat like a lot of whole food. For a while there, I was actually cutting back on protein too. I went kind of more vegetarian, eating a lot of pea protein and just lots of vegetables and trying that. And I don't know, it was okay because I've just given it a shot. But I'm dating someone now that hunts and he gives me venison. So now I'm eating a lot of deer. It's super yummy.
You can't say no to
No.
I can't see no to
venison. Damn.
Dark chocolate versus milk chocolate.
no, whatever you want to eat.
Doesn't matter.
Legit. Like, okay, yeah, so dark chocolate's going to have less sugar. But if you don't like the taste of dark chocolate and you want to eat something and you're like, well, I'm going to have the dark chocolate because I shouldn't have the milk chocolate. But then you're still craving the milk chocolate. Just have the freaking milk chocolate.
All right.
Like, I used to be the dietitian that was like, don't eat anything that's on the dirty dozen list and like only buy organic and don't have stuff in the house. And I'm like, no, you need to have something because that's real life. If you're going to go stand on a show and you don't want your ass to jiggle when you're on stage because you're like strutting around in your clear heels or you're on your board shorts for a guy, that's a different story. But everyday lifestyle, looking good, walking around with a normal body fat composition, that's a healthy one, does not require you to cut everything of enjoyment out of your life.
Nice. Need a balanced life.
You have to, because otherwise you are going to be isolated from friends and family. Your mental health isn't very good. You are only exercising for a body composition, but not to have a life. I mean, life goes by too fast. Everyone says life's too short. Life's not too short. Life's pretty long, but life goes by really fast. It goes by so fast that if you don't get a chance to smile at least once a day, what's the point?
It's good.
Men have the Adonis complex. That's a thing.
Women have the Barbie complex.
Yeah, I mean it's a thing. Men and women both have the same issue.
I got shredded up for my wife one year and she hated it. So
She hated it.
Yeah.
You had like a 6-pack, an 8-pack, 12-pack.
awesome. It was great. I was in great shape.
Yeah.
And
I
why'd
was
she hate it?
competing and everything, and she just didn't like. She's like, I don't feel like you can protect me.
Really?
I was like a lean 185.
Holy shit, man!
It's like nice.
What are you at now?
206.
Yeah,
maybe?
man, you're just thick.
200.
That's your genetics, though. I'm not thick like that.
Viking.
Yeah. I don't know what my genetics are.
Okay, back to 2 questions. How often should we exercise? And
Every day.
How much? Done. How much sleep do I need?
Okay, so exercise.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, so you become an adult, you have a job, you have kids, you have things you got to do. I don't always get to a gym or to a yoga studio or whatever every day. It doesn't happen. There's been days that I don't, but I try to do something at least like, okay, go for a walk if that's all I got with the dogs. I got 4 dogs, so you got to walk those things, like they're little. Sometimes I can just let them run around the house, so it's actually not that bad. I don't walk them every day. I was just lie about that. But try to move yourself purposely for 30 minutes every day, and it doesn't have to be 30 minutes continuous. So 30 minutes of purposeful, not going grocery shopping, not cleaning your house, but something that's purposeful for 30 total minutes in a day. That's it. Because then you've got the purpose of, I need to do like, say, 5 minutes of core over here. I'm going to go walk the stairs at work for 10 minutes. I'm going to take a lap around the building. I've got 10 minutes, something, and then boom, I've got that was only 25, and then another 5 minutes of core later, or something. Even stretching, because that's purposeful. Like even like sitting down and, like doing butterfly, figure 4, whatever, lying side stretch, whatever. So 30 minutes every day of something that's purposeful, and hopefully you're doing something more higher activity every other day at least, like a jits or a kickboxing or a boot camp or a yoga or something.
Okay.
And then how much sleep is very, everyone's different in the amount of sleep they need. There's some people that 5 hours is enough for them. There's some people that 8 hours is enough. There really isn't a science on how much. Now they say 8 hours is what that's an average.
Probably average, right?
It is an average, but there's people that get by with 5 or 6 hours, and maybe you don't get it all in one shot. Like you said, you'd like to nap. I like to nap. Like I literally at my work, I'll shut my door and I'll put my head on my bag underneath my desk and I'll take a 30-minute power nap because I just need to regenerate, because I'll get like 6.5 or something hours because I have to get up early. I'll get up at 4. I was up at 4:05 this morning to teach boot camp, or days that I teach at 6, I'm up at 5:15 or whatever. It depends. But I'm just saying that like sleep is, it also depends on what your day look like. If you have a very physically active day, like the more active you are and the more exercise you do, the more sleep you're going to need for recovery. So if you have a less active day or a couple days in a row, you don't have as many requirements for sleep. And I remember it was my Portuguese roommate who said this to me. He's like, wow, he started exercising. He's like, you need so much more sleep when you're exercising. I'm like, yeah, because you're rebuilding. Like you have to repair. Yeah. You have to grow when you're sleeping.
Interesting.
So it is very dependent on the people or what you do, and also how you're eating. If you're eating a lot of sugar and crappy foods, you're not going to sleep very well anyway. So you won't be sleeping well, but then you're going to age faster. People that don't eat well and like and they don't exercise a lot, they'll need less hours of sleep, but they also age faster. They're the ones that look older.
Okay. I didn't even know that was associated. That's cool.
I mean, think about the people that don't look good as they get older. They're the
I
ones
just thought
that,
it was genetics, but
well, okay. So I have a friend, Ken. He's 60. We mountain bike together. He kicks ass over everyone on the trail. And when I first met him, I was like, "You're what?" Like maybe I thought he was like late 40s, maybe 50. Then I'd look and he's 60, like exactly 20 years older than me, and I'm like, "What the hell?" Yeah. He's in great shape. He looks good, but he has been on his mountain bike every single day pretty much for the past 35 years. And then he was baseball, he was soccer, he was
just always active, always
active.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So activity is like really the fountain of youth.
Good to know. Steve, I have one more question for her. We do an F, Marry, Kill. On this podcast. You know what an F, Marry, Kill is?
I didn't know. I didn't. So that's one question. And you asked me. You were like, hey, did you have some questions? I'm like,
sure.
Yeah, I got some questions. Of course I do. And one of the questions that I was gonna throw down, I was like, nah, we're not gonna do an
F, Marry, Kill.
But I don't have it. If you've got to do it.
No, you just got to think of names. And so F, Marry, Kill is so someone you would fornicate with, someone you would marry, and someone you would kill.
You get 3. You got to make the choice.
What? I have to identify that here on the air?
Yeah. Well, no, we're gonna give them to you.
So
you're gonna choose.
I'm gonna give you. So I'm gonna give you an F, Marry, Kill.
Okay.
All right. So out of these 3, you have to choose one to fornicate with, one to marry, one to kill. Okay.
Jesus Christ. I can't believe it. Fucking. All right.
I got Jason Momoa.
Oh Jesus.
Rosie O'Donnell. Bradley Cooper. Go.
Oh my God, that's so hard. Totally, Jason Momoa I sleep with. Bradley Cooper I marry, and I kill Rosie O'Donnell. That was super easy.
Jason Momoa, Charlie Sheen, Bradley Cooper. Go.
Jason Momoa sleep with Bradley Cooper marry, and Charlie Sheen kill.
Good, because he's got AIDS.
Yeah, he does.
All right.
Really? He has AIDS?
I think he's got the HIV.
HIV.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah. Well,
That was way too easy. Why did you give me 2 hot men?
Well, because I wanted, I could go, okay, here we go.
I mean, I can think of 3 names. You ready?
Yes.
I got a couple for you. Carrot Top.
Go.
Oh, God!
That sucks.
Nope, can't.
Really?
No.
You're abstaining.
Carrot Top?
See, that could be hairy because if you went publicly saying you would,
Nope, not even. Nope,
you can't
Nope.
even do it
nope, can't.
because now the Secret Service is going to visit you.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Is that what it
dude.
is?
If they get, you can't even do it.
Oh, Jesus.
So we're going to leave that alone.
Yep, we're gonna leave that one.
Carrot Top,
Yep.
Lenny Kravitz,
Oh.
the ghost of Stephen Hawking.
Sleep with Lenny Kravitz.
All right.
Marry Carrot Top and kill the ghost of Stephen Hawking.
Ghost can't die.
That's right.
Well, I'm gonna
You
kill
lose.
him again. Well, I can't marry a ghost either, or sleep with one, so I wasn't gonna win
All right,
that
we're
one.
going to wrap this up. This is getting out of control. But thank you very much for coming in, Cassandra.
You got it.
Is there anything you would like to plug today? Meaning, how about the yoga studio?
Everyone should come to yoga. Come to True Body in Vernon.
Okay.
Your wife goes there. Lisa goes there.
Great place.
Mike goes there. And your wife's body has transformed from yoga. He's liking his wife's body.
Oh, no. I'm
And
just
she
kidding.
tells everyone, too. She got some guy to come in who bought a gift card for his wife or whatever. I'm not really sure who it was again, but
Okay.
she's been a good promo. But, yeah, come to yoga.
Very cool.
And do yoga. Stretch every day.
Stretch every day.
Stretch every day.
Yep.
Um,
Just a little.
It's the start that sucks. It's just starting stretching, is the hardest part.
We're going to write a book on
but
that, starting stretching.
do it every day. It's good.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
we're plugging Phantom Workshops.
Of course.
Okay. All that awesome gear. I can't wait till those rash guards come in.
Oh my God, I thought they were going to
So
be here
dope.
today.
We're plugging IPD Jiu-Jitsu.
Absolutely.
Which is why we're here. And it is sponsored by the people and for the people.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate your time today.
Awesome.
Also, we have recently partnered with Origin, if you couldn't tell by the Jocko
Jocko stuff all over the
stuff
place.
Yes,
all over the
good
place.
stuff.
And
Good
so we're going
products.
to be partnering with them for what we call RTDs, which are ready to drink.
drinks.
Yep. So we got a whole cooler out there full
That's
of
great.
those. And we got
I was a fan of the one that I had the other day.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It actually tasted good, and it doesn't have any shit in it. It's
No.
actually
That's good.
it's actually
got a
really good.
monk fruit for sweetening and
Oh.
stuff.
Yeah,
And
it
I'll
was
have you
good.
look over the can after and let me know. But
Sounds good to
they're
me.
pretty awesome up there. And so I appreciate the
Yeah, they're good
partnership.
people.
It's pretty cool. So thanks for your time. Steve, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And we'll catch you on the flip.
Hell yeah.
Peace.
Peace.